Hello and welcome to another episode of the Inside the Orange podcast. Now, first of all, I want to say a massive thank you to Kelly Barker and Born Anxious for coming on the podcast last week and talking about their journey and where they've got to be today. And we love them and we're a massive supporter of that brand. And that's why we wear them on the podcasts every week. Today's episode is going to be a slightly different format. The idea when I came back this season was to do all interviews. So this is different because for people that are regular listeners to the podcast, you'd know that I like to do an interview and maybe a solo episode to talk about the Inside the Orange and how I want it to kind of go into the world. But what I did this year was I've used the experts in the world to help me help understand that vision. And that starts us so well with that one word, vision, today. So my guest is Dr. Oleg Konovalov, and he talks about leadership and vision from the business perspective and how businesses can get such a strong message from their vision and such a very good focus from their vision, and something that it's all about people buying in to vision, but making sure that message is one that people want to buy in the first place. And that vision is clear and concise. And we had an absolutely amazing conversation. And it educated me so much on just what we think of as vision in the business world. Before that, here's some links to help you get in touch with the podcast. To get in touch with the podcast, you can find us at insidetheorange.co.uk. You can email us at insidethisorange@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at OrangeWhats, Orange WHATS. On Instagram, Inside the Orange. On the Inside the Orange podcast Facebook page, or you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Richard Stevens, motivational speaker and creator of the Inside the Orange. All these links will be available in the description and show notes. So my guest today is Dr. Oleg Konovalov. I met him via an introduction from a friend, from someone that knows both of us. And I was really interested in his work with vision, the Vision Code being one of his works, and how that kind of relates to leadership. So I'm pleased that he's joined me here today. So Dr. Oleg, welcome to the Inside the Orange podcast. How's your day been so far?
Richard, thank you for inviting. And thanks to Meredith for connecting us together. And it's great. If you're looking forward, it's always great.
That's good.
It's much better than you looking backwards, even just like something great was there, but it's already gone.
No, it's a very interesting point. It's love. Let's have the past, but let's not dwell on it. Let's look at the future and look at the now. We'll get to that in a minute, because I think that's quite an important part of what you talk about is being in the present. So tell us about how you got into the vision, the leadership works, because does it start, am I right in saying it starts way back in the fishing industry? Is that a fair kind of connection?
Oh, yeah, which is actually a very interesting industry because it's fairly unpredictable. You can't predict weather, you can't predict season, you can't predict your catch, but still you need to survive, and you need to learn how to work on scarce resources. And it's industry with a lot of responsibilities, because look at any skipper. It's about him getting fish and bringing all his crew back home in one piece with money, and it's goes far beyond just being a duty assigned. You are a skipper, you're the smartest guy on board. No, it's about truly leading people and feel fully accountable for what you do, what you could promise them. And that is quite important because it's not about reports. It's about true care for people, true knowledge of what you do, and true competences. Yet, you see, even when we say it's fairly unpredictable, you need to have some kind of a certainty with what you do. And in this world, which is absolutely uncertain, I even can't imagine what my wife would tell me in the morning. I don't want to predict, but vision is the most certain thing, because I know that this is the core of my life and I will fight for it. It's one of the questions I'm asking my clients or my course participants. One of the first questions: if you think of your vision, would you fully commit yourself to it? And of course, it's greater than any problem that you are facing now. It's your greatest asset. And of course, you will commit yourself. So would you kill for it? Yes, I will kill for it. That is quite important, because this is a certainty that we create ourselves. It defines the purpose of our life. It defines our why we should do something beyond ourselves. It's a mean for breaking out of non-satisfactory present. It's a ladder to success. It defines, it's a huge magnet that gets people together, because if you have a true vision, it's so powerful, it's so full of energy that it brings people together, because they see the value for themselves. But hardly we talk about visions these days in a way as a mission statement, something nailed to a wall, just some kind of a fancy thing. More or less, think for a moment, you placed a nice post on a wall. Within a day or two, you could change the wordings and people still would be passing it without even noticing it.
Yeah. It happens, doesn't it? It happens everywhere.
It's probably people paying more attention to road signs rather than to those statements nailed to a wall. So it's a waste of time, because the statement, our mission statement, it's my promise to a society what I will do positive on a way or on a journey to my vision. So more or less, I will do something great, but I still would be nice to my neighbors.
No, that's real. When it comes to, so obviously, you have got such you learned a lot from the days on the boats and from the skippers. Do you see, so the size of the boats and the size of the teams, did that matter to the skippers? Did the better skippers get more team, or is that irrelevant when it comes to a boat? Is it about what you're doing more than who you're with, kind of thing?
Absolutely, because not much difference, because if you're a truly capable leader, it's not much difference whether you're taking care of 10 people or 1,000 people. I know great leaders with teams of more than 1,000 people, and they know personally very well more than a third of their people, and of course they know the rest of their teams, maybe not to such a greatest extent. But I know leaders who might got like 50 people and they know very little about them. They're just like digits. No, it's not about this. It's about where do we go together. And you see, it comes to the greater your vision, the greater your responsibility. And the core of leadership is acting for people, acting with people, and acting for their needs. As I grow, I could do something greater to satisfy more people, to make, to create a value for them and help them to create the value for themselves and for others. And in this sense, your limit is only your mindset. Because if you could set up greater goals, you could serve more people. So your mindset, whether you're envisioning the future and you're fighting for it, is only a limit.
So obviously that's a really interesting kind of analogy. It does say a lot from the industry, and why I suppose it does connect very well from what you've done. When we talk about your work, though, you've been described as the Da Vinci of visionary leadership. Now, I remember we spoke about this, and you were like, "Yeah, it's there." It's what I've said. Why did you continue to feel that there was a need to take this from your past into the business world? How much are businesses not aware of their vision? Or maybe, sorry, that's a bit of a wrong question, but
Richard, that's a tough question, and in this sense, I'm not very diplomatic, because for me, it was a shocking truth to realize through my research that less than 0.1% of modern leaders have vision. The truth is actually 0.08 something, like, and I just rounded it to be a bit more diplomatic, just like to be nicer to people. Because majority of leaders, they talk about reports, they're talking next financial periods, bottom line, personal ambitions. They all want, they can't predict, or they're not thinking about the next year or 3 years ahead, but they want to be millionaires or billionaires within a short report period. It doesn't work. Who would support you? Because that's your personal ambitions. You're exercising your ego. Great, but I'm not interested in your ego. Because that's a very tough truth. We are like hamsters in a wheel. We're repeating the same old mistakes. And even think, whatever the newspaper you would open, or business magazine, or articles on the internet, they're talking more or less about the same companies or the same people again and again and again. Those people with vision who are breaking through the barriers. And there are not so many of them. Yet it's not, vision is not a gift. It's very interesting, beautiful algorithm, how to think about the future, how to create it and make it a reality. So it's nothing about being gifted. It's about thinking about the future in pragmatic way. Vision is very pragmatic. It's not illusion. It's not just a promise. It's a clear algorithm how to create it. Because even think from very beginning, it starts, vision comes when your conscious awareness of a problem you want to solve for a benefit of others reaches its peak. So you become very focused on what you do, and your people become focused as well. So performance is there, effort is there, commitment is there, clear solution is there. So it attracts investments, it attracts people, right people, market open its doors. It works.
With vision, is there a little bit of a paradox, though, from what you're saying, that people, obviously a business needs money to work straight away, but do we get that kind of instant need for money that we then lose sight of our vision? Is that something that happens a lot? How do we fix that problem?
Oh, look, I love watching this Dragon Den, and quite often I notice that those people got enough time to get ready for the show. And one of the, of course, questions is, okay, you're asking for such and such amount of money in exchange for such and such equity. Why do we need this money? And then it's like long poses, sniffs and stuff like that. So we don't know much. Well, we don't need to spend on marketing and stuff like that. Hey, when you clearly know what do you need, those things becomes absolutely clear. Because the first thing you bet, I need a lot of money. Why? You are looking for a lot of resources, money included, when you don't know what do you need. It's like, okay, we're flying somewhere on holiday, so we don't know whether it's north or south, so we'll take a winter coat and a t-shirts. When you clear what you need less resources because you are sharp, clear where you go. And so you're coming to those things. Why do we need such and such amount of money? Oh, to spend on. Instead of thinking, hey, we need to promote, or we need to employ, or we need to develop, or we need to create certain thing, and it will cost us such and such amount of money. You are clear on those things. It's not like about you go shopping and you're saying, hey, I have £100 and I will spend all that money on some kind of food in a supermarket. Instead of saying, I need milk, bread, sausages, meat, and in fact, it will come to about 25 quid.
Yeah.
This time, more efficient, you're clear.
And do you think that is time? Do you think people don't spend the time where they should of actually making that vision concise? They just think we have to know this. Or...
Hey, Richard, don't jump into that area because time is not relevant. It's about energy. Because when we talk vision, we talk about quality. Can you, when you see a beautiful piece or a beautiful car, do you think about the time or you think about energy? You think about energy. I met a lot of people with very expensive watches, and most times they're usually late to the meetings. It's nothing about time. It's about energy that I will commit, because you create a value through a simple formula. Value for people multiplied by effort of all people who involved in creating that value. There is no time in this thing because I will commit myself fully, and if it's done, it's done. If it demands more effort to complete that task, I will put more effort. But if I'll say, hey, I got 72 hours to complete this, and that's a limit, then I will deliver a crappy job. And that's one of the things people saying, no, we need to have it fixed by the end of the next month. But if it's not ready, or you do some kind of a dodgy war. Yeah.
In this, so I get it, and we're going to get onto your book because obviously the vision code is your book, and it's available from Amazon. We want to talk about that. The one thing I just want to go back to though, and you said it's not about time, but how can you translate that as a sale to a business? Because as much as you're saying it's not about time, it's hard when you're something that's got a need for something. Surely all you think is time. How do you make people think, well, no, it's the energy, not the time? How do you translate that as a sellable thing to a business? Do you know what I mean with that?
Yes. What kind of a result you promising people? So what are the metrics of your vision? The metrics would be, I will change somebody's life, or I will create something, some kind of a solution for people that they would use. And it's all about that energy. I can't promise people time. If I'm contracted as a coach or a consultant, yes, we have a time frame, like, okay, this is an annual contract. That's fine, but it's about result. And the result comes from the energy that I will put there and my client will put there. If we need, we'll spend more time because it's more energy need to be added. But if I will promise, okay, I will talk with you for an hour, that's it, regardless whether you understood the subject or not, the result is not there, but I have tried. Nothing about this.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
Just like we've been watching all those Olympic Games in Tokyo recently. Mm-hmm. Think of every Olympian. They might be running for 10 seconds, or their fight is for a couple of minutes, or, their race is just for about an hour. Can we precisely calculate how many hours or days they put through their training into that gold medal?
That's a really interesting point.
And it's about their effort, continuous effort. It's not about, hey, I have trained for so many days, I must win. No. Energy is about effort. It's about commitment until the last moment when they say, done. Celebrate and go to the next one.
I see that because there was a thing recently I've seen about Usain Bolt, saying that he's run 2 minutes. His Olympic history, he's run for 2 minutes. And that's
in
made him
total.
Famous. Yeah, from his races. But actually, the 20 years of work he's put in to do that, to become the best for those 2 minutes of his life. I get that. That's a really good analogy. And I appreciate you kind of helping me see that. Yeah. Because automatically you think time. Automatically, as a person sat here listening, you think time. But yeah, time is very relative, isn't it? But actually, the energy you put in will decide the result.
Another example, why thousands and thousands of people are going to the football stadium to watch a game, I don't know, between those famous teams. Are they just go over there to waste their 90 minutes? No, they're about to feel that energy that created within 90 minutes by those phenomenal players.
I love that. That has educated me, because as I say, my mind went straight to time, but actually, let's think energy. Let's think about that. You can't define time with things. Actually, you define what you put into things is what you get out of things, isn't it? I suppose. Time
is very interesting indicator, but if you think, for instance, you must be very clear what your present is. What is your present? And when many people think, oh, today is the 32nd of February. Come on, it's a calendar date, even the wrong one. When you think of a space, of an energy, where I am now, it's very, very different.
No, yeah, I get that. As I say, I appreciate the fact we've actually had this conversation, because it's actually, it makes sense now, obviously, and that's the idea. Let's talk about the Vision Code, the book. We should, as I say.
I love the book.
I believe you wrote it, so that's a good idea. It's good for you to like it.
Actually, I don't use any ghostwriters, or I do my books myself.
Because that's good.
Writing a book is a very interesting process. It's not about what you have put on the paper. It's in a way how my work impacted me. If it makes me stronger, better, I don't know, advanced in something, that was probably putting it on a paper.
I totally agree. I spoke to someone else who's writing a book recently, and I said, do you write it how you would say it as you speak it? Now, obviously, there is differences with writing text to speaking, but he said exactly the same thing. He said, because these are my experiences. And I think that's when we write well, and when we understand our own self, and we want to and share the knowledge. We want to share people how you understand it, because that's the best way to get it across, is it not?
Yeah, but I have even advantage being in one room with global visionaries. I brought 19 brilliant minds into that book, and I shared their quotes, their experiences, because it's not only about my opinion. My opinion It's probably valuable to my wife, to my son, to some extent. But when you say, okay, there are different views, because people from different countries, from different industries, they have different experiences, and they view it from different angle. And for instance, I always offer discussion from multiple angles, because you might admire one way, somebody would look from another angle, and it must reach the hearts and minds of readers in terms of, I understood this way. I'm not very happy with that way, but I understood this, and so I will use it into practice. But when I'm pushing my own opinion, as always would be a single dimension or a single point of view, which is not as rich as needed.
No, but it's still important to be your take, isn't it? It's still, from what you take from the 19 other visionaries, it's still going to be special to you. You're going to take
of course.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's a brilliant, because look, I have learned every interview is like the best in the world one-to-one coaching session. You just like for free. And you talk with people, they share their, insights, and you think, hey, I know this better now, and I could apply it. Well, that's a privilege.
Welcome to my podcast. That's exactly what I love doing. I love sitting and listening to people who engage me. So that's why I enjoy it, and I want to share it on the world. Let's talk about the book. So without giving too much away, because people need to go and read it, but we'd like to talk about it. You talk about a practical algorithm for vision. Can you give us some insights? So, vision to me is visual. It's about, seeing something.
No.
Oh, okay. Come on, educate me again.
Visual is somebody are better at visualizing, somebody less. Not as good at it. But it's clear construct, thought construct, because I'm constructing a clear future. Because vision is our aspirations for the future that we strive to make a reality today. But in fact, I am creating a multidimensional space in that future, which is pragmatic, achievable, it's actionable, and so the people who would get involved in it, they're reaping the results, the benefits. And my aim is to make others the co-owners of vision. It's not just like, look at this nice picture. Do you like it? Yes. Tomorrow it will be some other picture. Vision must be times greater than you or me or any organization, because then it has this magnitude. And of course, hopefully I'm not a talking head. I like practical algorithm. I like practical solutions. And the first, it must be very clear, or you have absolutely crystal clear clarity of your vision. What it's all about. It's not you must be very focused. And as I mentioned, vision comes when you conscious awareness of your problem you want to solve for the benefit of others reaches its peak. Then you must grow as a leader, true visionary leader, because your vision will grow and it's huge, and you must handle it, not in a way just like solving a problem today, but it's about how to make others stronger, to manage it, to make it real. You must run your vision through viability test in terms of how scalable it is, where is the stimulus for people, what kind of value for people create, why they should respond to it, who feels responsible. How simple is that? Because if it's too complicated, people wouldn't buy it. And how relevant it's to reality today, and how it would be relevant to a reality within a few years' time. And of course, it's about where is the passion, because vision is strong not because you're visualizing it, because you're putting your heart and mind into it. your passion. You're making others the multipliers of your passion. So, and of course, you must communicate your vision well, so it's spread your influence. So you must incorporate communication as sharing facts and sharing your vision, because you are sharing emotions and stories. So by doing so, you're making others the co-owners of vision, and they're co-owners because they see clearly how would they benefit from it. And of course, it's about acting, because we touched this point before. Leadership is not about looking for consensus. Can you imagine a skipper who is looking for consensus? No chance. We're looking for consensus when we don't know where to go. And strong leadership, it's about being firm about strong corporate culture. It's about making or enabling others with decision making. It's about maintaining focus and will. It's about being clear about the metrics of your vision. So it's not about KPIs, which might be important at a certain point, but it's still about being always clear. What do we promise people around us? Employees, customers, stakeholders, shareholders, all of these groups. And your vision should be revised and revitalized all the time, because if you wouldn't be adding a new energy to it, new meanings to it, you wouldn't be exploring it further. It will die. So you must revitalize it all the time. Therefore, it came as an algorithm, caviar, clarity of creation, ability to manage it, viability, influence, acting, and revitalizing. And I share all that questionnaires, models in the book, so people could physically open the book, read it, and apply it tomorrow, or create it tomorrow. Yeah, there's manual instructions. I'm happy to help, but it's quite good practical instruction.
And as I say, that is important, because people need to take it. A couple of things that, and I think I asked you this before when we first met. I said to you, you said to me that having a vision is staying in the present, because, like you said, if things change, if things come up and things need to move, you need to adjust your vision. You need to adjust it rather than completely scrap it. You need to be aware. But people, again, the conception is that vision is very much the future, isn't it? So how do we stop ourselves? How do we keep ourselves in the present without getting drawn too far into that future?
You must really understand where you are with people, because it's not about making a sky blue, or no, it should be deep blue, just like, it's nothing about this. It's not about selling ice cream, pleasing everyone, and it must be sold quickly because it will melt down. No, I must be present, and the first thing is, which is critical, I must listen to people, to learn from them, to learn about their pain points, what needs change, what needs more effort, what changes the people envision, because I can't see everything. People see everything, and I learn from them. And therefore, I must be grounded to a reality in which people live. And that is important at every stage of that vision journey, because as soon as you are detached from it, you're lost.
Can you recover? If you become detached, can you recover?
Yes. Yeah, you can, unless you're really lost your way.
Now, the word vision. So when we talk businesses, we talk values, we talk vision, we talk strategy, right? Is vision strategy, or is vision a part of strategy, or does vision complement strategy? Are they not exclusive?
Vision is my promise to people where we're going to be in the future. Strategy is a path to it, most efficient path. right? There is no point to talk about strategy to the future that we can't envision. You're building a bridge to nowhere. Yet, to achieve that great vision, you need to have a strong, good strategy. Otherwise, you don't know how to get people there. Strategy is about how people will complete that journey. Strategy is not about what kind of resources do we need.
Okay.
Therefore, you start with vision. Then you need to envision your culture. You must have a vision for culture because it's about making people better, changing their lives, impacting their lives. And of course, then you just need to be very clear with your strategy because you will get it there.
So obviously your vision, if you're looking at, and again, you don't like to use time, you use energy, of course, but I mean, how vast can visions be? So can you have a vision that is very short term, and can you have a very long term vision, or do they have to have a certain relative energy point, I suppose?
I'll give you a simple example. Electrical cars were invented well before Elon Musk Tesla project.
Mm-hmm.
But he promised people that, okay, we will be using at a different level electrical cars, right? And Tesla was brought in. We could say, okay, vision is achieved. No, but actually it's triggered a huge space, all those charging stations, a new understanding of car service. It's triggered a lot of changes. So it still stays within that vision. But it must be achievable within a reasonable time frame. 3 years, 5 years, 10 years time. There is no point to say, oh, within 100 years, we might reach something. No, people must reap the benefits of it at every stage and as early as possible. Otherwise, they would lose that courage, enthusiasm.
No, and I understand. So I mean, to be fair, it is about making sure that you know what you want, but you're also well enough in it to know that you've got the people and you're taking the people with you on that journey.
Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise, who would join you? You know.
You're right, and again, you answered a little bit earlier on about it, about the companies that emblazon all their posters and everything on the wall and probably misuse the vision and everything. Oh, so yeah. How do they get better at that? Is it scrap the posters, or is it live what's on the posters in the organization? Do you know where I mean with that?
From one point of view, you must communicate your vision all the time, but you have one single vision. When you look at those posters, they're often misleading. So you need to have posters repeating the same stuff. But when you have a lot of posters which are in contradiction with one with another, that's you are misleading people. And eventually people just ignoring them. So you must be clear. It's a very interesting sign that when you have a lot of posters, you don't know where to go. You're just trying to encourage people, motivate people. But vision is such a thing that is very inspirational. And inspiration is about showing people that they can do it beyond themselves. But when I need to put a lot of posters, it's only showing that I need to push people to finish that week, to finish next week, to finish another week. You know, well, it doesn't work good. It's more or less exercising their patience.
No, absolutely. And do you think then they've kind of become a way of not having the conversation? Actually, like if you speak to someone about the vision of a company, they are actually probably more likely to buy in, aren't they? If they actually hear why and the passion behind it, more than just this is what we do. You want people to hear this is where we're going and this is why we want you on it. So have we become lazy with the visual where we should be having it as a communication, as a conversation?
Exactly, because you see, it's very difficult to share your passion through those posters. You must talk it. People must feel it. But again, you can't be passionate to many things. It's nothing like fragmented passion.
Yeah, it dilutes it, doesn't it? If you're trying to say we're good at these 6 things, actually, or 10 things, if you're passionate about that one thing, you'll be probably 20 times more passionate about that one thing than you could give the time to the 9 other things, isn't it?
And when you would be talking to people, hey, I'm passionate about salmon fishing, great, and they could share stories, they will be sharing their stories, and we understand each other. When I say, I love this and love this, and that's, you don't know what to talk about.
It goes back to you were saying about the football team. You know, we all support probably one football team, really, and maybe the national team. If you said why do you support that team, you could probably give a really passionate answer about why. But if you had 10 teams, why do you support all 10? The message isn't going to be as good as it's going to be. So
exactly,
you know, to get it onto a football analogy, you know, that for me, it makes perfect sense, and that. So one of the most important things, where can people find out about you? Because again, you are so lovely. I could talk to you for ages. It's brilliant, but people can go and find you and read your work. So where can people find you?
I'm always available on LinkedIn. They could go on to my website, olegkonovalov.com. It has a contact form. They could join my course. They could arrange me as a client or have a quick chat if I have time. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help people who are developing vision because it demands a lot of courage. And I love these people. You know,
that's good. And
it's amazing.
And if someone was to kind of go, what kind of things do you, so obviously the book's important, but how can people learn from you? What did you offer, stuff like that, or?
Oh yeah, I have a Oleg Konovalov Visionary Leadership course, right? I do small groups, like 5-6 people I'm taking quite regularly on board, and I'm just sharing all those tools. And so driving lessons, how to get it done. I do coach, I do consult companies across the globe on these things. They could learn about, I wrote quite a few books actually, but they could, you know, Wiley is quite good at distributing books. It's not only on Amazon, it's in shops across US and the UK and all other countries. So people could grab and read those things. And I do post different practical articles on my blog, in different magazines, business magazines. So they could learn a lot.
And you speak about your blog. One of the things I found on there, what I really liked, was the one about not getting on the ship with a captain that you didn't trust. And I said to you when we met about that's, you know, that must translate to the corporate world. So just a little question on that. Is there an opportunity if someone is a bad skipper, a bad leader, if they can realign their vision, would you get back on their boat?
No chance. I wouldn't risk.
Oh, go on.
Look, leadership is about making people better, and they will pay you back by making you a better leader. But if you are not making people better, you're not a leader. You're just assigned to a position. And why I should go with somebody who is crucifying my effort, who is crucifying my competences, who doesn't make me better.
So that leadership, they have got to be that pure. They've got to understand the people around them, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if I don't see or feel that my leader appreciates the value that I develop for customers, for team, for company, why I should commit myself? Then I will spend time. from 8 to 5, I would be good at it.
I understand. Look, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you on here and talk about the vision. I'm sure people find you, as I say, on my show notes and my description. I'll put links to get to your work and to your book and everything like that. And again, you put it so well earlier on that when you have this one-to-one time, people learn and listen. And that's why I love guests on the podcast who kind of talk about things that actually kind of help me understand. And that's the idea of the podcast. I don't have the podcast knowing everything. I don't claim to know everything, but actually there's some people in this world who can help you learn, and I want other people to learn from your stuff. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Richard, thank you, because I love the conversation. It's about both of us learning from each other. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a great day. It was an absolute honor to interview Dr. Oleg, and I urge everyone to go and have a look at his work. It was quite a conversation, and his work is really important for businesses, I think. So on next week's show, I'm going to be interviewing Jackie O'Connor. Now, Jackie is known as Mrs. Jackie O on social media and YouTube. And what she wants to do is raise awareness for a disability that she has called hemiparesis. And she's trying to raise awareness about things that need to be considered with this disability, and raising awareness for other disabled parents to come forward to have a platform to talk to. So I'm delighted that interview is going ahead, and that'll be on next week on the podcast. All that's left to say today is thank you so much for listening, and to get in touch with the podcast, the information will be coming right now. Goodbye and take care. To get in touch with the podcast, you can find us at insidetheorange.co.uk. You can email us at insidethisorange@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at OrangeWhats, Orange WHATS. On Instagram, Inside the Orange. On the Inside the Orange podcast Facebook page, or you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Richard Stevens, motivational speaker and creator of the Inside the Orange. All these links will be available in the description and show notes.